Okay, so this is a card I've drawn for February, which is the Hanged Man. And this is a message about the energies of the month for me. Now, any viewers that watch this and feel that this message resonates with them, then please feel free to take this message away with you. So with the Hangman, we can see there's a man that is suspended from a cross beam between two branches. At the base of these branches, we have greenery and what looks like growth. And they're not very predominant in the card, but they are there. Then we have the figure in the centre of the card. Now, when I look at the man's face here, he doesn't look agitated. In fact, he looks quite at peace with his situation. He's not struggling. He doesn't look uncomfortable despite being hung by one leg. Because his hands are out of view behind his back, we don't know whether they're tied or not, so that remains a mystery. But he seems composed in his situation and he seems to be reflective. So when I go on to look at the meaning of this card for myself, I would say for me, this is about reflection. It's about stepping back and pausing and reflecting on what's happening at the moment. And maybe also about being at peace with my current situation. So to further expand that, it might be that you have plans. I certainly have had plans that for the time being I've had to put on hold. And I'm not too happy about it, but I have to accept that that is the way it is. So for me, here, this is what this card would represent. So for anyone else that wants to take this reading on board as well, you might have plans. You might have had to postpone those plans. You might have had to change those plans for some reason or other. And that reason may be beyond your control. It may not be. What this card is a reminder of is maybe pause and think about it. No one likes the fact that the plans have to change or that they have to stop, but there might be a deeper reason for that. Maybe now isn't the right time to pursue those plans. So it's about reflecting, okay, my plans aren't happening, but does this give me chance maybe to do some final adjustments before I put those plans through? Does this give me chance to look back and reflect and see that things need changing before those plans are put through? There could be a variety of reasons. So maybe it's time to reflect before those plans come to fruition. This is also about meditation. So taking time out, calm, and being at peace with your situation. We also have here growth. They're not predominant in the card. They're in the corners, but growth is there. So right now, this card to me also represents being stagnant. We're in the middle of winter. Winter is a time where growth stops. Growth in the wilds, growth outside in nature doesn't stop because it's never going to happen again. It stops because winter is the period of rest. The plants, the flowers, everything that grows at this time of year, or the majority of things apart from evergreens, lay dormant. So this card would also to me represent being dormant, but that growth is there, that growth will return and come. So that's what my reading is for the energies of February. And like I say, if you feel this card resonates with yourself, please feel free to take it with you. And if you can hear a noise in the background, it's my washing machine. Okay, so let's continue on this journey through February and see what goes on through the rest of the month. A big thing for February is Imbolc, and I will share with you my Imbolc ritual. I call on the light of Bridget, the light of Bridget's flame, to bless this altar for Imbolc. Okay, well, I've just seen in that little clip that I've been dedicating my altar to Imbolc. I have dressed it in what I call the colours of spring, and these colours, the like pale green and the white, will stay on my altar probably now until about Beltane, when I will change them for a more sort of summery, more vibrant colour. So I've got my altar prepared for Imbolc. I am a traditional witch as well. So there are things in here on this altar that pertain to traditional witchcraft. This is a horned candle holder, and the horns represent between the worlds. I have my horned goddess, the goddess of nature and the forests, and the green man here. I have a device here which I use in spirit drawings, and there's a little cauldron there, and then I have an offering bowl here as well, which I've just dressed. I don't have my altar too fancy, it's just a simple altar. And then I have a couple of pouches at the back. One has runes in and the other has some really teeny tiny oracle cards in, and I use those but mainly for altar work. At the back, I'm just going to move this out of the way to explain. We have a cross, okay? And yes, the cross is a symbol of Christianity, but it isn't so for me here. The cross does predate Christianity. The Ankh, which was the ancient Egyptian symbol of life, is one example of that. This is a equilateral armed cross, and to me this represents the solar cross, a form, and also a form of a Bridget's cross. So to me this is the solar cross rather than the Christian cross. And the reason I have this particular cross here is that my husband died nearly 4 years ago, and about 4 years prior to his death, as a birthday present, I bought for him a woodworking workshop day out, and it was run locally by a wood carver, and it was a workshop for up to 6 people. And I bought my husband, who enjoyed working with wood, I bought my husband a place on this workshop. And this is what he produced on the day of that workshop. He was from the northeast of England, he was from Durham, and this in Durham was also the St Cuthbert's cross. So that's why he carved this, because it meant a lot to him, the St Cuthbert's cross. Although my husband was not Christian, he didn't believe in God, he didn't believe in life after death, and so on. But that's why I've put that on there, because it was what my late husband made, and it is also, to me, it has a lot of sentimental value to me. And it's also a representation of the solar cross, which is why it goes on there. So that's just a quick tour of my altar. And then later on, I'm going to share with you my Imbolc ritual. It won't be anything fancy, but it'll just be my way of sharing with you my honouring of Imbolc. I just thought I would show you this that I've made for Imbolc. And it's based on a Bridget's cross. In fact, it is a Bridget's cross, a very crude one, because I've had to make it with the materials that I've had available to me. Where I live, there are no reeds, so I can't make it with reeds, which is what it would be traditionally made out of. So instead, I've had to use conifer leaves, and the conifer I have used is from my backyard, which is there. And because I have plenty of conifers, I've decided to make this with the materials that I had available to me. So I have my Bridget's cross there, and it mirrors here the solar cross, which my late husband made. And also I have a solar cross there, which is a antique and was gifted to me many years ago by my parents. And That's quite important to me too. I'm not a Christian witch, I'm a traditional witch, but the solar cross not only means that solar energy, but the four arms also represent to me the four cardinal directions. So that's my Bridget's cross, and I've got my altar now set up more or less for Imbolc. This is a ritual I'm going to do. I have a candle there that I'm going to burn this evening, and I've got some stuff down there in preparation, and I will share my ritual with you soon. Happy Imbolc to all who celebrate today. Today is the 1st of February, and I thought I would come on and share with you some of the things I'll be doing over Imbolc. Imbolc for me kind of really starts on the 31st of January, and I see it as a period that lasts 3 to 4 days. Now, today is the 1st of February, which is traditionally when I would celebrate Imbolc, but because I live part-time with my elderly mom, she's had to have a doctor's appointment today, so I've had to be there. Then I've had to take her shopping, so I haven't had much time in the day to do the ritual that I wanted to do. So I'm going to do that tomorrow on the 2nd, but I do have time to do a small spell for my best friend. My best friend's been having some kind of activity happen in her 500-year-old home, so I thought I would craft her a witch bottle. It's only a small one, but I'm going to craft it her, and I thought that the 1st of February would be a great time to craft this because it's the first day of the month. It's also the first day of the new energies of Imbolc, but it's also about the light returning, and my objective here is to bring light into a home, and hopefully this light will help to diminish those pesky paranormal pests that have been pestering her. I don't think they're evil or demonic. I can't pronounce the word. I don't think they're evil or demonic. I have verbal I can't think of the word. I have verbal dyslexia, so do excuse me. This is why I get my words wrong so many times. But I don't think they're evil. I just think they're a little bit of a nuisance. And she, like me, has a lot on her plate with a ailing husband that she has to care for. So I'm doing this spell bottle for her, and I've lit some incense. I'm just going to flick the ash of that, and I'm going to use the incense just to cleanse, just to pop in the bottle and cleanse it. There. Cleanse it. That's it. Wow, I like the way the smoke stays in there. That's awesome. So I'm just going to let that sit a while and cleanse with the incense smoke. And the intention is that it will help to clear away the spirit activity that's been happening in a home. As I've said that candle's really flared up, so that can't be a coincidence. So I'm just going to pause here because I want to put this spell together now, but I don't want to do it on camera because this is personal. It's not only personal for me, it's personal for my best friend, and I really don't want to share that. But I will come back and I will share my Imbolc ritual with you. So blessed be for now. There we go. I've now made it, and I just need to seal it with wax. Beautiful flame. And I'll catch you next when I share with you my Imbolc ritual. Okay, and I've set my altar ready for my Imbolc ritual. And I've chosen a green candle because green is representative of spring, and to me that's what it represents, the coming of spring and new growth. I've dressed the candle in an oil of my choosing, and I've set the altar ready. At the top here there's a Bridget's cross to represent the presence of the goddess bride, or Bridget. We have a sacred spiral here that represents the cycles, and I've chosen the Empress here to represent growth and the goddess at this time of year, which is Bridget. So I'm going to say my prayer and then light the candle. I've chosen for this calling of the goddess a prayer. I've seen various words to say online for Bridget, and I've just accumulated those into my own kind of prayer. So I shall light the candle. I call upon the goddess of the sacred flame and holy wells. Bridie, maiden of spring, come with your warmth and new energy to quicken the seeds of new life and to bring growth to the land, bringing with you longer days, bringing with you new growth, new life and birth. As you come forth in your bounty, blessed maiden, Bridie, blessed be. I ask also that the presence of Bridie, Bridget, also brings growth to anyone who watches this video. I ask that Bridie, Bridget, brings growth to all of you who decide to watch this video, and brings you bounty and warmth and love. So mote it be. I shall leave this video running just for a couple of minutes, just so that you can share in the energies of this little Imbolc ritual, solo ritual that I've done. You're welcome to share in its energy, and you're welcome to take from it anything that you feel may help. Okay, I'm going to pause the video there, and I would like to wish you a blessed Imbolc. Blessed be. Little walk in a little patch of woodland. Sadly, a lot of trees have been felled since I last came here, right near a main road, but it still has that magical feel to it. There's still lots of greenery around, even though it's only early February. There's still plenty of green in ivy. bird box up there. A long time ago there used to be 2 or 3 cottages in this little wooden dell, as I'd call it, but they were knocked down a long time ago. But it's nice. I like these little stretches of woodland. Seems a shame that the trees have been taken down. It could be that they were diseased, or that they're just managing the growth. It's interesting with woodland because there's a whole network underground, right under my feet. There's a whole network going on of communication. With fungi sustaining the trees and the trees sustaining the fungi. It's really interesting. So there's still plenty to see. There's a dandelion growing there, and it's just nice to get that bit of greenery while I'm up here overwintering with my mother. Nice tree, looks like a holly, and there's another little holly. That's one thing we have a lot of in this area. We have a lot of holly, a lot of it. Then it just is a nice cut through away from the main road, which is brimming with traffic, because it's the main road into the city centre, which is about 5 miles away from here. And then there's this lovely little carving here. So cute. So I thought I'd share this little walk with you. So, see you soon, guys. This is a local church and graveyard. It's where my mum lives. And I thought I'd come and have a walk round with the dog. Gorgeous snowdrops. Some repair work going on over there because there was a huge tree that fell down in the winds. I think graveyards are very special places. In a way, they're kind of liminal because they're visited by the living to remember the dead. And when I come to a graveyard, like this one, I always ask the graveyard grim, is it okay to come in? More often than not, they say yes. This is a new path that's been built because it's the village where my mother lives. It's obviously expanding a little bit. It's very attractive. Even more so in the summer. And what I like about graveyards like this is that they are peaceful. And in fact, I wouldn't object to having one of those houses there that backed onto a graveyard. Wouldn't bother me in the slightest. Little gnome. I mean, graveyard dirt can be taken, obviously, for graveyards for magic. I wouldn't take one from here because it's too near to population. I usually take graveyard dirt from an ancient priory near to where my property is in Cumbria, and that's when I'll tend to take it. And I'll usually take it from a molehill rather than dig into a grave, or from here, either side of a pathway, still graveyard dirt for use. But I always find these places calming. Graveyards are often seen as scary or spooky, and they're not. They're really, really not. Not as far as I'm concerned anyway. I think they're peaceful places. You can come here and contemplate. The dog isn't even freaked out. Seems quite happy, meandering along. And that's the beauty of them. So I thought I would, while I was giving my dog a walk, show you the graveyard today. I've already shown you the woodland, which is actually, if I film and I zoom in, the woodland is those trees which are on the other side of the road. So yes, it's always nice to come and contemplate. That'd be a nice house to live in. So I shall check out with you guys rather, and I hope you've enjoyed my February vlog. There hasn't been much shopping or any shopping on it this time because my elderly mum has had an awful lot of appointments this month, and I've had to fit in doing any shopping around that. So she's usually been with me. So February, in terms of hospital appointments, physiology appointments, etc., has been a busy month. So I hope you've enjoyed this rather witchy Imbolc themed video, and thank you for watching, and blessed be.